Happy birthday, Ellen. I'm glad to join many of your friends in wishing you the best of this day and in thanking you for another year of making us laugh and making us think. Of course, I'm especially grateful for what you've done for New Orleans and the whole Katrina area, the $10 million you raised for the Red Cross, the $1 million for Toys for Tots. I'm still working there too, and a lot of people are better off because of your efforts. We've got to work hard until we can bring all the smiles back to their faces too. But I think the chances are a lot better because of you. You're one of a kind, you're a wonder, and I'm glad you've been my friend. Happy birthday.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Bill. This past weekend, I took my first trip back to New Orleans since the hurricane, and while I was there, I got a chance to sit down with Presidents Bush and Clinton to talk about what's going on down there. Take a look. Do y'all want water?
I'd like a little bit. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Would you like a water?
I'm fine. I just drank 2 bottles of it.
All right. Then I won't keep you long.
I'm dehydrated from transatlantic travel.
But I'll give you the mug so you can have a souvenir.
I want the mug.
All right. You can have an Ellen mug.
Oh, look.
Yeah. I have my own mugs too. I travel with my own mic and my own mugs. It's fancy.
You talk first class here.
Well, first of all, what do I call you? Tell me before I start talking to you what I should call you.
Call me the old guy and call him 40.
You can call us whatever you want.
You're 42?
Once we get out of office, you can call us whatever you want.
All right. So you will just be President Bush, President Clinton.
Yeah,
that's fine.
All right. You know, the fact that you two are working together, I love, because I think the power between you two and putting your differences aside and saying, we're going to work together. What do you think it is that's the two of you combined that is such a powerful team?
I think it sends a signal that some things transcend political differences. And you get it, Ellen, I don't know how President Clinton feels about this, but you get a wonderful, warm feeling that you're doing something helpful.
Mm-hmm. I think one reason people like it is they know that our political differences have been too harsh and too personal, and it's not been good for the public interest. And this has been true for a couple of decades now. And that, you know, when they just see us doing something, even if it's not everything, it's something, I think it makes people think, well, I can do something too.
Yeah, I agree. I love what you just said, because it does feel good to help. And even if on a grassroots level there are people going out and picking up trash and there are kids on spring break coming in, and it feels good to help. And it does, I think the country is so divided right now by politics, and it's like you shouldn't talk about it, and it's so divided that it does send a powerful, I think it sends a great message that there are things that are bigger than that.
I think that's right.
I'm from New Orleans, obviously. This is my first time back, and I went to the 9th Ward just now and was in tears. And if I thought about it any longer than talking to you right now, I would lose it again. I mean, have you seen anything like this? Am I just not seeing enough? Has this ever happened in our country, this kind of devastation?
Not that I know of. I'm sure there have been terrible, terrible hurricanes that have wiped out people's homes, but not this broad.
I think this is the biggest city destruction we've had in a long time.
Well, when this happened, I asked my viewers to send in money in to help, and we raised $10 million just from my viewers just, you know, helping and doing what they could, and we're making a donation to your fund. And, you know, I mean, there's just, it really does feel, to me, overwhelming. You know, it feels like when you see what's out there, you feel like, where do you start, you know? Exactly. So the fact that there is something going on and I can talk to you and hear that there's hope and...
But I think one thing that I'd like to say to you, you know, you said this is the first time you came here. And I have some inkling of how you feel. I didn't grow up here, but my mother went to nursing school here. I first came here when I was 3 years old. I've been coming here all my life. And I just wept the first time I saw it. But when you talk to the native New Orleanians who are staying here, it's you just put one foot in front of the other. You figure out, you know, what needs to be done, what you can do, and then you just get up and go to work. And pretty soon, when everybody does that, the tide begins to turn. There is no silver bullet, but there are so many people here.
Yeah. When we were in the Ninth Ward, there was a guy, Donald, who was sitting on the flatbed of a truck outside of his house, and he goes back and he still can't go inside. He can't bring himself. He goes halfway up the steps and he goes down, and I went up and looked at his house and just demolished, and he's got nothing, and he's begging me, and everywhere I go, people are begging me because I'm from here. Everyone's saying, do something, help us do something, and I'm a talk show host, you know? I mean, I don't know what to do, and how do I tell them, because it's 9 months later, and I know that you know, the Bush-Clinton Katrina Fund has raised $100 million, and they're saying, you know, we're so grateful for what people are doing, but, you know, what can I tell them?
It's heartbreaking, but we want to do this right. We can have, for example, more mixed-income neighborhoods when New Orleans is rebuilt. We can have the schools located, some of the new ones that have to be rebuilt in different areas, so that we can take advantage of what we know now in other cities, that poor kids learn better if they're in not just mixed-race schools, but mixed-income schools. There are all these things that are going to be done here, but it's an agony for people who are waiting. And the problem, of course, is that a lot of people were getting subsidized housing that we're living around here in the hotels and things, and that's gone now. So it's going to be a very tough, I think, 6 months to a year still on the housing front, but it will be done, and we got to do it right this time. We can't let them come in and then get washed away.
I'm thrilled that you're here, and I'm thrilled that you're doing what you're doing. And before you go, I have to, it's an elephant in the room if I don't mention it, because I know you both have power. Can you do anything about Chris Daughtry being kicked off American Idol? It's not right. It's not right.
If I could, I would. You know, there's some good things about not having power anymore.
Yeah.
And even when we were president, we didn't have that much power.
All right, well.
Some good things about being 82, you don't watch that stuff.
Yeah, well, if you knew him, you'd be as upset as I am.
Really?
He shouldn't be kicked off.
It's an injustice.
It's an injustice.
Serious injustice.
It's yes. All right, well, I thank you all very much for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you for caring about your hometown.
Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, darn right.
Stay with it. My only other advice is do something like this again in 6 months. And maybe in another year, do it again.
Yeah.
Just so people don't forget.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much. Thanks for everything you're doing, too.
Thanks a lot. Nice to be with you.
Our first guest is a father, husband, diplomat, fundraiser, humanitarian, and the 42nd President of the United States. Please welcome President Bill Clinton. You look fantastic. You look good. Do you feel it does? And you made a... Go ahead.
When you get a little older, you just got to wear brighter ties. That's all.
Yeah. No, do you feel like, I mean, you just turned 60, so happy birthday to you, but does that feel old to you?
No, it's very interesting because in my family, on both sides, I have to go all the way back to my mother's grandfather, my maternal great-grandfather, to find a man who lived to be 60 years old.
Wow.
So I feel very fortunate, but I don't feel old. I feel great. I feel blessed and great. I'm really proud of Hillary and the success she had in the election. I'm very proud of our daughter, and I love the work I do. So everything's great for us.
That keeps you young. Well, I mean, the energy you have, and congratulations on Hillary winning. That's fantastic, and what a huge number.
In the two major Republican areas of the state, she got 60% or more of the vote, so I was really proud of her. But she worked hard. She just, we always thought that if you win these elections, you get a job, and you're supposed to do the job. And she did the job really well. She worked hard at it.
Now, is she going to want another job? Do you think she's going to want to, do you think she'll run?
I don't know. I know that she hasn't decided yet. And I know, we're in a different place in our lives. I mean, I think that if she believes that she'd be the best person, if she's got a real plan, and if she thinks she can win, she might do it. But whatever she does is fine with me, and whatever she does, I'll support. I do know this, and you can just see this from her performance the last 6 years. If she ran and could win, she'd be great at the job. That's all I care about. I think if you... I remember when I ran, and I remember when I decided not to run in 1988, when I thought I could have been nominated. I thought I was a good enough politician to be elected, but I didn't think I was mature enough to serve. I didn't think I was quite ready. It's just a judgment you have to make. But in '92, I had a very clear idea of exactly what I wanted to do. And I think that she would have the benefit of all those years, plus being in the Senate, plus, you know, she just knows what not to do as well as what to do and how to do it, and she has experience with people in Congress. I think she'd be great, but it's a very personal decision, and I just don't know what she's going to do. She'll just have to make up her mind, but she's still kind of happy about what happened and thinking about what they're going to do at the beginning of next year, so she'll, in the Congress, I mean. The Democrats have a huge responsibility now because they got such a broad-based group of voters to back them, and they have to be very careful with it and very deliberate, and they have to produce results, and I think she's focused on that. But when she decides, whatever she decides, I'll suit up and play.
Do you think that the country is ready for a woman president? I mean, if she would run, do you think that there are still people that would be shocked by that?
I think there are some, and we won't know how many, and we won't know whether until someone actually tries. It's this, whenever you break a barrier, you can say, well, I think we're ready. I mean, you know, Chile's got a woman president. United Kingdom, Israel, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of countries in the world have had female leaders. Germany now has a woman chancellor. But until somebody actually runs, you just won't know, because people, sometimes they don't even know their own minds about new things until the decision is there. And I think it will depend very much on the individual, what the times are, what the, you know, it'll still be determined by the facts of the case. But I think there will be some reserve in some people's minds about voting for any woman for president, and then I think most of it will melt away in the campaign. But we won't know for sure till it happens.
Well, I'd like to see it tried out anyway. I mean, I hope she does run, because I think it would be amazing just to.
If she won, she'd be good.
I think so too. All right, we have to take a break. We'll be back, and I'm going to give the president a little quiz a little bit later. We'll be right back. We're back with President Bill Clinton. Lauren and the baby, I think, just arrived. Let's bring them in and have them. Are they here? That's a gorgeous baby.
It's a good baby.
Oh, this is a moment you don't know right now.
You want to see the baby?
Yeah, you gotta kiss the baby. Kiss it.
Who are all these strange people, and what are they doing here?
Now, what's the baby's name?
Till.
Till.
Tillman, but Till.
Huge.
Till, just hold on to that pacifier. Everything's going to be fine. Look at that rhythm. He's dancing like Ellen. Oops. Okay.
That's all right. We sell Ellen
Here.
pacifiers
Well,
here.
this is what they do in Germany.
All right. What did you just do?
You lick it.
Oh, okay.
It cleans it.
All right. We'll go have a seat over there
Okay.
and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Bring
Hi,
Tillman
buddy.
over there.
Okay. I hope
And
he stays quiet. If not,
that's
I'm
all
gonna
right.
leave.
We have a butler to take him away.
What a beautiful boy.
I was asking the president but during the commercial if you watch TV and how you have time, because I heard that, you know, I mean, you know so much about everything that's going on, and you still have time. You watch Grey's Anatomy, right?
I love Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I love Boston Legal.
Yeah.
And when the new series starts in January, I'll watch 24.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of old movies. I watched the Comedy Channel special on New Orleans because I wanted to see what they were doing to raise money. I thought, you know, that Billy Crystal and Robert Williams and Whoopi Goldberg did. I watched that. But I watch a lot of sports. I watched that unbelievable Ohio State-Michigan State football game on Saturday. Unbelievable. So,
Dancing with the Stars, did you watch that?
I didn't, but I like Emmitt Smith. I wanted to watch it just to see him boogie, you know.
Yeah. But
I'm
it's
always
amazing.
interested in people who can multitask.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you certainly do that. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of, see what else you know. You're a pretty smart guy, and I think that you might know these, which will be amazing. True or false, President John Quincy Adams regularly went skinny dipping in the Potomac River before dawn?
True. He swam across the Potomac River
Yeah.
in the cold weather.
True or false, Hillary Rodham attended the same high school as Brad Pitt, Abe Vigoda, Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford.
That's right. That's right. All right. Oh, one more. While attending a 1969 Lions Club meeting, President Jimmy Carter reported seeing A, Bigfoot, B, Elvis, C, a UFO.
A UFO.
Yeah. That's right. All right, we have a little surprise for the audience. We'll be right back. We're back with President Clinton. Talk about multitasking. He read my entire book during the commercial break. I appreciate that. Tell us again, you were starting to tell us before what you're doing in Philadelphia.
I went there to work with John Bon Jovi, who is...
You mean him?
I was doing pretty good with him until you showed up.
How did you meet? How did you hook up?
Well, of course, I was the president's biggest fan and was involved in Gore campaigns and his re-election in '96. And I've been the house band for the Clintons for years. I've performed for both the president and Mrs. Clinton many, many times over the years. And as the president mentioned, he came down and helped us launch the Philadelphia Soul Foundation. And why I'm here today and why I was in town was these are the coats that we had discussed. Kenneth Cole and I have teamed up to provide these coats. So I brought both you, Ellen, and the president, and Jay-Z one.
Thank you so much.
A little bit of fashion accessories.
Is this cool or what? I love this.
That's great.
There you go.
What do you think?
Guys.
But 100% of these coats, profits, 100% go to Project Home and Project Help. And I'm going to continue to try to do good with both the Philadelphia Soul Foundation and now my partner, Kenneth Cole,
That's
building
fantastic.
houses.
We can be a part of a posse. We could be in a band suddenly, all of a sudden.
See? I like
all
that.
of us.
And you know, yeah.
But they're wonderful. They're wonderful. And I hope that people will go to Kenneth Cole stores and online and do the right thing by
Thank you so
providing.
much. And thank you also. I want to. It's so important, and I love what you're doing, and I thank you so much for it. Last time I saw you, we were in New Orleans for everything that...
We're still working down there, you know, and we got, we funded 2 new schools that will be green schools. It's a great deal.
So Till, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our first guest could make history by becoming the first African-American president of the United States. It's an honor to welcome Senator Barack Obama. You're the best dancer so far, the presidential
It's a
candidate.
low bar. It is a low bar. But I'm pretty pretty sure I've got better moves than Giuliani.
Yeah. You definitely do. And you just made $800 for the Susan G. for the cure.
Thank you. Thank you. I lost my watch. I was so excited.
You got a punch on you. Your watch was...
My watch went flying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you got it back, right?
I did. It's in my pocket.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, so how about this about being related to Dick Cheney? How do you... Did you know that? Was it a surprise?
You know, we'd kept it hidden. Mm-hmm. He's the
Both of you?
he's the black sheep in the family. You know, we're just trying to
Now, y'all ever go hunting together or anything like that, or no?
family hunting parties.
No?
I bow out. Yeah.
No reunions or anything like that?
Not yet. But I may show up. Who knows?
Really, at a family reunion?
Next time.
But I mean, how did y'all, if it's that far back, how would you cross-reference a family member to find that out?
You know, I guess there are these genealogists. They do genealogies on various people, and some genealogist has done one on me. And you know, you always hope that you've got Cleopatra or something.
Right.
Then it turns out you've got some thief or something.
Yeah.
in your
You
family.
never know. Sometimes
never
it's best not to know.
It is.
Sometimes it's best
Exactly.
not. All right, and so maybe you could be him for Halloween, Dick Cheney.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I saw some of those costumes, by the way. You looked sharp.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you make a good Elvis. I
Well-
like the sideburns especially.
Thank you. Well, those were real, and I just shave them for the Daily Show. But what do people want to? I think first of all, you're charming, and I think people are drawn to you, and you have a lot of charisma. And politics, I really don't understand a lot about politics. I'll try to ask you some questions, and I think we have people at home and in the audience that have questions. But what can you tell people about the man, not the politician, but who you are as a man?
Well, I come from a diverse background. Right? My mother was from Kansas, a white woman from Kansas. My father was from Kenya. They met at the University of Hawaii, which is where I spent a lot of my youth. And then I lived in Southeast Asia for some time. And I've got a half-sister who's half Indonesian. And so I've got family all from around the world. And that, I think, is a big part of me, because there are pieces of me, including Dick Cheney, in my family tree, and hopefully that's one of the talents I bring to politics, is getting people to recognize themselves in each other and work together.
Do you even pay attention to the pressure that what I just said is if you would be the first African-American president? I mean, do you think about that, or is that not an issue?
Just being the president, that's pressure enough.
Yeah.
And so, I spend most of my time just thinking about how can I communicate a message of change? Because I think, people are really frustrated with the gridlock and the pettiness of politics, and part of the reason why you may not pay attention to politics a lot is sometimes it's depressing, because it doesn't seem like we get a lot of stuff done.
Right.
And so, what I'm trying to do is during this campaign to figure out how can we bring people together around issues like healthcare, global warming, and giving a better education for our kids, and how can we overcome some of the special interests and the lobbyists that tend to dominate our politics.
And if you win the primary, would you consider, and I asked Hillary this when she was on the show, would you consider Hillary as your running mate for vice president?
I am just thinking right now about how I get through the primary. But Hillary Clinton is a terrifically accomplished woman, and she is going to be, I think, not only a formidable candidate during the primary, but she's just a terrific public servant. So right now, my job is just to make sure that I get through this primary, get the nomination, and then and also to make sure that my wife and kids don't forget who I am during the process.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you have the energy to do what you do every single day. You got to really want that job bad, because that's a lot of work, and then you get there and it's just tons of pressure. But
it's like being the host of Ellen.
Almost. It's almost that kind of pressure. Yeah. I mean.
How do you handle it?
I don't know. And how do you feel about speaking of me, how do you feel about gay marriage? Would you legalize gay marriage?
What I would do is immediately set up a civil union that is equal in federal rights, so that all the states all the rights that are conferred by the state are the same for gays and lesbians, same-sex couples, as for any other couple. In terms of marriage, what I would do is I would say that each religious denomination can make up their own decisions. Now, my denomination, United Church of Christ, we recognize same-sex marriages, and I think the other denominations may feel differently about it. But the state has to make sure that everybody's rights are equal.
Right.
And right now, we've got over 1,200 benefits that married people get that people who have civil unions that are recognized by their own states don't get.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's not right and it's
No,
not fair.
It's not right.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. But
Exactly.
I'm glad you recognize that.
I do.
It's good to know. All right, so we are going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get questions from the audience, and we're going to actually maybe surprise people and call them at home.
I am really looking forward to that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. We'll do it then. All right. We'll be right back. We're back with presidential candidate Barack Obama, and we've asked our viewers to submit some questions for the senator online. And we picked some, and we thought it would be fun for the senator and to talk to him directly. They have no idea. We said, if you could, what questions, and they think we're just going to do it online. But
Yeah.
I am going to call them.
Let's talk.
And we're going to, now you said I have a hard job, and I do. And one of the hardest jobs, I'll tell you,
Is dialing?
is dialing while I'm talking, because it's really hard. So don't ever put yourself in that situation, or at least have somebody do it for you, or.
You're doing good.
Well, I've made it through. But now we're calling Makita Johnson from Richmond, Virginia.
This is really exciting.
I know, she has no idea.
I hope she's
Hello?
there.
Hey, is this Makita?
Yes, this is her.
Hi, Makita. This is Ellen DeGeneres. How you doing?
Oh my God.
Hey, wait. Oh, it gets even better. Hold on.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, Makita. This is Barack
Hi.
Obama. How are you?
Wait, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Makita, I hear you had a question for me. We wanted to call up and answer it personally.
Oh. Okay.
This is good.
What's your question?
My question is, I know being a senator is a very time-consuming job, and
Yes.
because it's so time-consuming, you don't get much time for your family. And as president, how will you divide your time for your family and time for running our country?
Well, it's a wonderful question, and I know you know my wife Michelle is just terrific, and my kids are, of course, spectacular.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Malia and Sasha. And it's the hardest thing about running for president is being away from the family so much. But one of the things Michelle and I talked about before we even started to run was how do we make sure that our girls are good? And what we've tried to do is create a real protective situation for them. We didn't move from Chicago. They're there going to the same school with the same friends and really try to be as normal as possible. And the nice thing about if I'm president, I hear that they give you public housing. There's this. So yeah. So there's we'll all be under the same roof, and hopefully I can do my job and tuck them in every night and read to them and do all the things that dads do. But
That's great.
but one thing Michelle's absolutely clear about is if I can't do a good job as father, then it's pretty hard to talk about families and how I can do a good job for the country as well.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Makita, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Makita.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
That's a good question.
That was good.
Now, speaking of that, you've been married for 15 years,
15
is that
years,
right?
I have.
And you seem like a wonderful romantic couple.
I'm a very romantic guy.
What's the
Yes.
most romantic thing you've ever done? With her?
Well,
Not someone else,
now I will tell you, the way I met Michelle, she's younger than me, but she had gone straight through school and through law school, and I had worked before I went to law school. So the way I met was she was a first-year associate at a law firm, and I was a summer associate. So she was my advisor. And so she would not date me because she took this position very seriously. And I kept on begging and pleading, which is usually how you get dates. But finally, after a firm picnic, I offered to buy her ice cream. And we went to Baskin-Robbins, and we sat out on the curb and ate ice cream cones. And then I kissed her, and that's when I figured, that's when I sealed the deal. I thought, yeah. So I think that moment buying her ice cream was probably
that did it.
That was it.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to come back and we're going to read your emails. I appreciate you being here.
This was wonderful, and I hope I get a chance to be back.
All right. Well, I hope so too. Good luck to you, and we think you're terrific. And
I do hope I started a trend with the presidential candidate dancing.
well, now they have to.
I want to see him bust a move out here.
All right.
Absolutely.
And we'll have this on tape to taunt them. Yeah. All right. We'll be back. All right, thanks. I want to thank Senator Barack Obama, Sabrina Bryan, and Mark Ballas. I've been thinking about the lovely tone of Barack Obama's voice, and I thought how wonderful it would be if he read a selection from my book, My Point and I Do Have One, which has been recently reissued and is widely available at your local bookstores. And so now I give you Senator Barack Obama.
My Mother, the Car was the weirdest show ever. It even tops The Flying Nun. A man's mother dies and is reincarnated as a car. It could happen. I mean, a talking toaster or a talking can opener, an ironing board, or a ping pong table, those would be ridiculous. But a talking car, that's much more likely. Somewhere along the way to putting this show on the air, drugs had to be involved. It was the 60s. To me, it sounds like the last idea you have, and you mention it, kind of embarrassed, and after all your other ideas have been rejected. I came up with this one at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Well, it's a talking car, like they have, and it's this guy's mother, I guess. Now, he might not have been zoned out on Boo or Goofballs, but the network guy who bought it, man, he had to be on something. Right, it talks. Just like a person talks. I dig it. Write it up. I'll give you more notes after I tie-dye my shirt and drive up to San Francisco to see the Grateful Dead. Wow. Look at my fingers. They're funny. Thank you.
Exactly how I intended it.
Pretty good rendition.
Exactly. That's what I had it. Bye, see you tomorrow. I have not seen this yet. This is from New Orleans, and let's take a look together.
Ellen, the work you've done over the past 2.5 years for New Orleans is truly amazing. You've already raised over $10 million, and now you've embarked on a second fundraising push for the Make It Right Foundation, and you're well on your way to raising $1 million more. Not only have you helped the citizens of New Orleans get back on their feet, but you continue to remind us what a special, unique, and tremendous city New Orleans is by sharing the inspirational stories of its people. I've worked with your staff to put together a little piece highlighting all you've done for New Orleans. Enjoy, Ellen, and keep up the great work.
Many believe that our first guest is on his way to becoming the first African-American president of the United States. Joining us now from Duncanville, Texas, please welcome Senator Barack Obama. Hello, Senator. How are you?
I couldn't hear you. They were too noisy.
First I said hello, and then the next question is, any new dance moves since I've been with you last?
I just want to say that we were kind of in a slump until I was dancing on the show. My poll numbers skyrocketed after that. Everybody saw me bust a move on Ellen. That's all it took.
I'm glad I could help. That's fantastic to know that that's all it takes.
Yeah, but I have to say that I find I don't dance as well when I'm not with you. So I don't want to try anything now. I'm going to wait until the next time we're live together.
because you inspire me that way.
All right, I was going to play some music, but I'll do it next time. Maybe we'll do it on the way out. We'll play some music, we'll dance together on the way out of this interview.
That's a possibility.
All right. Here's the big question. Have you been able to not smoke when there's so much pressure and so much stress to try to do it's such a horrible, hard habit to break, and I know because I struggle with it myself. Have you been able to stop?
I've been able to do it. I've been chewing on this Nicorette, which tastes like you're chewing on ground pepper. But it does help. And you know, this was a deal breaker for Michelle. You know, I had been sneaking 4 cigarettes a day for a while, and she said, if you're going to do this, you got to stop, precisely because the stress is going to increase, and it'll just get worse. So that's an example of my wife making me a better man once again.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So now questions about politics. Hillary says that she is ready on day one, and you say you are ready on day one as well. So my question is, number one, are you ready? And then what is it like? What is day one? Do you wake up at 8? Do you get breakfast? What's your day one?
Well, first of all, I think I'll just go into the Oval Office and sit at the desk and say, wow, this is really cool. But actually, the first day after I'm sworn in, and I don't know whether that counts as day one or not, I think the day after inauguration, if I were lucky enough to serve, it would be to call in the Joint Chiefs of Staff to really start talking about how do we get our troops out of Iraq in an honorable, careful, responsible way. But I am a strong believer we need to bring this war to an end.
Yes, I agree with that. All right, and now everyone is saying, and it really has been, this has been a very a clean campaign. As campaigns go, it's been pretty clean. But let's talk about the flyers in Ohio that Hillary says that they didn't represent her properly. They misrepresent her. Did they, and what do you say about that?
Well, obviously, I think that they represented her position properly, which is that she supported, in the past, NAFTA, which has been pretty hard on Ohio. And we've had an ongoing discussion about health care. Both of us want to provide health care to all Americans. There's a slight difference, and her plan is a good one, but she mandates that everybody buy health care. She'd have the government force every individual to buy insurance, and I don't have such a mandate because I don't think the problem is that the people don't want health insurance, it's that they can't afford it. So I focus more on lowering costs, and this is a modest difference, but it's one that she's tried to elevate, arguing that because I don't force people to buy health care that I'm not insuring everybody. Well, if things were that easy, I could mandate everybody buy a house, and that would solve the problem of homelessness. It doesn't. But this is a philosophical disagreement that we have, and it's one that we're going to continue to talk about. Overall, though, as you said, this has been a relatively clean campaign. I have enormous respect for Senator Clinton, and I'm looking forward to working with her, to make sure that Democrats win in November.
Now, here's the thing, and I'm sure you hear this. I really like you. I really like Hillary, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. I think that sometimes it's a very clear-cut thing when you have two people running. You go, I absolutely am for this person, but I think a lot of people like both of you. And so when you have people that like both of you and are saying, look, I'd be happy if either one of them won, why vote for you?
Well, I think that we're at a moment in history where in order to solve big problems, to provide health care to people who really need it, to make college more affordable, to help families save a little bit of money for retirement. In order to do that, we've got to bring the country together. And I think that I have a better chance of getting Democrats and independents and Republicans to come together and put aside some of the partisan bickering that
has been going on for a long time now and that the Clintons were involved in. And I also think that I've got a track record of not getting entangled with special interests. I don't take PAC money, I don't take federal lobbyist money, which means I think I can be more independent, and that's part of the change that has to happen in Washington. That's what I hope to bring when I'm President of the United States.
Well, Senator Obama, this has been a pleasure talking to you. I know you're busy and you took time out, and I appreciate it so very much. And we're going to play some music. I'm going to dance. If you hear the music, I hope you're going to boogie a tiny bit. If you said it helps. In just 2 weeks, our next guest will find out if he will be the next Vice President of the United States of America. Please welcome Senator Joe Biden. Hello, Senator. Hey, can I call you Joe?
Yeah. As long as you wink at me.
All right, so let's talk about how you got here.
Now let's talk about how I come out after Colin Farrell and you guys.
Yeah.
I'm playing the old guy role anyway, in this whole campaign, and now I got to come behind him.
No, you're not. No, it's a hot show. This is a good one. We appreciate both of you for lots of reasons. All right, but let's talk about this.
I like to be appreciated for his reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Only kidding. I'm joking.
So you did not, from what I hear, you didn't really want to be asked to be vice president, and here you are, vice president candidate. And what has changed, and how do you feel?
Well, I didn't want to be vice president. That's not anything I ever auditioned for. Vice presidents don't do a whole lot. No, John Kennedy, President Kennedy once said, I once had two brothers. One went to sea and one became vice president. I never heard from either again. But look, when I told Barack I'd do anything he wanted to help him get elected president. And I never expected... I never expected that he'd take me up on that literally. But look, this is an incredible opportunity. This is a man who I think has the potential literally to be a transformative figure in American politics. I think he has a shot to, and if I can be any part of that and help, and I think that, I asked what he most wanted in a vice president. He said he wanted somebody to be a confidant who'd give his independent judgment, and that all the important decisions, I'd be in the room. He's president, but I'd get an opportunity to make my case. So, this is an opportunity to be part of history, and with a guy I think will be a great, great president.
It's amazing how historic. And so, are you surprised? Because I am. This campaign. I know you were friends with McCain before, and are you surprised by how he's changed?
Well, I'm disappointed that he's... Look, there's negative campaigns. It's one thing to attack someone's position on an issue. But I think what his campaign is doing now, and I just was informed that there's a what they call a robocall. Those calls you get, hello, this is the RNC, da-da-da. And, and this attempt to associate Barack Obama with terrorism and terrorists. And, I think it's over the top. And I'm really, I am surprised.
Yeah, because he was not, it seems to me anyway, and he was on the show, it seems that he's just changed.
I think it's out of character. I've known John for 33 years. When the people were going after John really hard, remember in that 2000 campaign when he was running for president and the Bush campaign went after his daughters and his wife, and I literally picked up the phone and I called him. He was out west, I don't know, he was in Arizona or California, and I was for Gore. And I said, John, where do you want me? I'll show up in public anywhere with you to testify to your character. And some of the same people that ran those kind of smear campaign against him are some of the people that that are involved in this campaign. And look, this doesn't hurt Barack. It doesn't hurt me. It really hurts the American people. It distracts them from what is really at issue here. And this is the most serious election any one of you will ever vote in. Not because we're winning. No, I really mean it. Yeah. Not because of the candidates. Yeah. Not because of Barack or John or me or Sarah Palin, but this is one of the most critical times in American history. We haven't been in this spot since 1932, and I don't mean in terms of just our economic dilemma, but our place in the world, and we're either going to, turn things around, or we're in for a really rough ride the next 20 years.
I agree. And I think just, on a base level, just energetically, it's just, there's such a lack of love and compassion and reaching out. There's just a meanness going on that I don't like to feel.
I think it is in the campaign, but the vast majority of people, I don't think it's there. I think the vast majority, I've never seen the country. I find no difference, Ellen, whether I'm up in Montana or Florida or in California or back east. This is the first election I've been involved in where everyone has the same focus. It's the same discussions are going on at kitchen tables. Will I have our job next month? What about our health care? Are we going to be able to send our daughter back to college? I mean, these are really basic, in a sense, unifying crises that everybody's going through. And I think people they're not buying it this time.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you talk, because I feel like most people, we had one vice presidential debate, and that was it. And don't you wish that you had more? Don't you wish you had more than one time?
Well, Governor Palin said she'd like to debate me more, but coincidentally, we've been asked by a national police group if we'd each appear and debate, and I agreed to do that. And she decided not to do that. And look, I think that the truth of the matter is, I don't think presidents get voted for or against in large part because of who the vice president is. I do think that, though, vice presidents have a role in the sense that when the president's elected, what value added are they going to be in terms of helping get their agenda passed, and whether or not they can represent the president well. And speaking only for myself, I'm totally comfortable playing that role for Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Senator Biden about something that's very important to me. We'll be right back. We are back with Senator Joe Biden. Okay, so obviously a very important issue for me is gay marriage. And in California, we have something called Proposition 8. So I would like to know, which I think I know your position, but I'm not sure about Proposition 8.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number one. Number two, if I lived in California, I'd clearly vote against Prop 8.
Fantastic.
And by the way, Barack and I both opposed a similar attempt nationally, that there was an attempt to talk about a constitutional amendment, which I think is regressive. I think it's unfair, and so I'd vote no.
No on Prop 8. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to know. Just because I don't want to return our China we got. We got some good stuff. So let's talk about, this really is just a horrible time right now for everyone. The economy is just frightening. And what realistically can you do?
Well, look, there's a fundamental difference between what the other team is proposing and what we think. There's never been a time when the wealthy get to stay wealthy if the middle class isn't growing. The poor don't do better unless the middle class is growing. And the middle class has been killed the last 8 years. So everything we do, Ellen, literally, everything relating to taxes, health care, education, energy, all of it is focused on figuring out how to give the middle class a fighting chance. In this country, in the last 8 years, the median income of families has dropped $2,000. That didn't happen in a long time. And now it looks like it's going to get tougher. And so we do a number of things. First of all those major tax cuts that were going to the major corporations and the Exxon Mobils of the world and paying people $15 billion a year to go abroad. And by the way, we're going to end this war in Iraq. We're going to end it and end it by, but that's the reason I tell you that. We're now spending $10 billion a month. So when people say, how can we afford all these tax breaks for the middle class? Our answer is you can't afford not to give them a chance. You can't afford not to. And there's plenty of places we can cut the profligate tax cuts that this administration has been pushing, as well as some of the spending that they've had. But in addition to that, you got to go out there and create jobs. It really is all about jobs. I mean, if you don't have jobs, your housing values, even if you can keep your house, you're in trouble. So we focus everything on jobs, and we also focus on small business, not Joe, the plumber that I saw.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What is that situation?
Well, you know, look, I just think sometimes I think people get a little ahead of themselves. You know, the average small business person in America, 98% of the small business people in America make less than $250,000 a year. Anybody who makes less than $250,000 a year is going to get a tax cut from us. 95% of the American people. But again, it's not so much just about being fair. It's about how you grow the economy. 60% of this economy is based on you going out and getting everything from your hair done or a haircut to going to the restaurant to buying a new automobile. It's about consumers. It's a consumer-driven economy. And when you drain the middle class of the ability to be able to meet their basic needs, then the economy collapses. The last thing I'd point out is even this guy, let's assume he's making $250. And I'm told it'd be good if he got a license as a plumber. It might be a good thing if you're a plumber. But all kidding aside, think about it. If you are a business person and your gross receipts are less than $100 million, you're still going to get a big tax cut under us. We're going to let you underwrite 50% of the health care that you provide for your employees. We're going to let you get a $3,000 tax cut for every new employee you hire. Again, why? The vast majority of jobs are created by small businesses. So we just want to fundamentally sort of turn this upside down. What we've been doing the last 8 years doesn't work. This trickle-down stuff doesn't work. And by the way, I'm not one of these guys who thinks that if you're wealthy, if you're making a lot of money, you're not paid. Wealthy people are as patriotic as poor people. We just haven't asked much of them. And now it's time to focus on the middle class and focus on jobs. And we can afford to do that, or put it another way, we can't afford not to do that.
Exactly. We can't afford not to. I'm with you. I have a number for Barack Obama that I'm going to call. I hope this is the right number and not somebody else named Barack. I had the wrong George a little while ago, so. It's very exciting.
Hello, this is Obama for president.
Oh, hi. I'm looking for Barack Obama. This is Ellen DeGeneres calling.
Yeah, this is Barack, Ellen. What are you calling for?
No, it's not Barack, is it?
It really is. Turn around.
Where?
Take a look. On the screen.
On the screen.
That is. It's Barack Obama. Barack Obama.
How are
All
you?
right. Listen.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing? Everybody's excited to see you. So, listen. Hey, listen, I want to talk to you about something, a few things that are very important. Thank you for taking the time to talk. How are you, by the way?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm doing great.
Good. And hey to everybody standing by. You know, there are people behind you.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
Say hello to my people here.
Hello, there are your people. Hey, listen, Senator, let's talk about dancing. Michelle was on the show, and she was talking some smack about your moves. You have 20
I noticed that.
Yeah, you have 20 seconds to respond to this clip.
Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing and dance to you. Sing it now. Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing. Try to release that pressure. Get up off of that thing.
I don't think. Now, let me tell you that Michelle may be a better dancer than me, but I'm convinced I'm a better dancer than John McCain.
I am too. I am too. All right. Hey, listen, what's going on at your house for Halloween? Are the girls going to have their costumes? Do they have them picked out yet?
They do. Apparently, Sasha, the young one, is a corpse bride. And Malia is going to be an evil fairy. Although I got to admit, they both look too cute. I've been trying to tell them they've got to look scary, but they're not scary enough for my taste. I want them to like have blood dripping and scars coming out, but
well,
maybe it's a boy thing.
you have time to work on it. Are you going to be a pirate this year again? We have a picture of you as a pirate, that you're an adorable pirate. Look at that.
You know, I was thinking, I've still got that in my closet. I was thinking about pulling it out.
Meggedy.
I thought about I was thinking about wearing it for the debate.
You should. That'll be scary. All right, listen, I need your help here, please, Senator. We're in the midst of our own campaign. We're trying to get George Clooney on the show. It's called George Watch 08. I'm sure you've heard about it, right?
I have. I know this is one of the most important issues we have to grapple with in the next administration.
You are absolutely right. I'm so glad to hear you say that. Can you please, you're so eloquent with you're passionate when you speak, people listen, and can you please reach out to George and tell him how important this is for our country to be on this show?
Well, I have to say that Clooney is a good friend of mine. He's been a great advocate on behalf of things like Darfur. But what I'm thinking is to appoint him as ambassador to The Ellen Show.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
And what we would do is we would have him and you sit down without preconditions. And I think that we can resolve any differences that you may have.
That's a
The
great...
country depends on it.
I think he's going to be here now. That did it. I thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're headed to Hawaii to be with your grandmother who is ill. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you, and thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Just don't talk about my dancing anymore.
Never, never. Hi. It's a good song to play for you because you make things better. You actually, you're such a good man. You're really, I mean it. I admire you so much. It's good to have you here. The last time you were on the show, you were in New York when we were in a studio there. But now this is our home. So welcome here.
Yeah, it's your digs are better. You just keep moving on up.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you just keep looking better and better. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are, and I'm vegan as well, and I know that you're eating plant-based diet, which is, do you just feel much better?
Oh, yeah. I think, I would say this, particularly if you're older when you start this, first, it's just a good thing to do. It'll be healthier for you, and you put less stress on your cardiovascular system. But if you're older and you've had heart problems like I did, you can go vegan and still get in trouble.
Yeah, yes.
If you eat too much white, like processed carbs.
Right.
It's really, really important because carbs convert to sugar in your body. The main thing is to keep the sugar levels down.
Well, you look fantastic, and there's no way you're eating a lot of sugar because you've lost. How much weight have you lost?
This is the third week in a row where I will weigh less than I did the day I finished high school.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
It's funny.
So let's talk about your amazing wife. Since I saw you, she has become Secretary of State, and you must be so proud of her.
Oh my God, she's always gone everywhere.
She's in China right now, right?
Yeah, it was. I went down. Our normal routine is we get to spend the weekends together, and then if we're both in the country and not traveling, I'll go down and spend a day in Washington, but mostly it's Friday and Saturday and sometimes Sunday night, and then we have the weekends. So we were together Friday night, and then she had to go to China. And I thought to myself, she's going to China And then she's going to Bangladesh and a couple of other places in 4 days.
Wow.
You know, it's amazing the stamina she has. You know, I used to have more stamina than she does. She does stuff that I don't think in my life I could ever do.
Yeah.
And she just very steadily works at it, tries to keep herself fit, and just keeps plugging away.
Yeah. She, and that impressed me the first time I met you too, and she has that same thing where she gains energy from talking to people, and she's so focused and will stop and talk to every single person, and is so, she's an incredible woman, and just...
Yeah, I'm really proud of her, and I think the one thing that she's been able to add to our kind of diplomatic arsenal is reminding people everywhere, first, that you have to include women and girls in every country's future, otherwise the country's never going to rise. And quite apart from whatever injustice you will do to people, it will limit the country. And secondly, she focuses on projects that actually help ordinary people. I know she's going over to China and they're having all these negotiations in the back about the Chinese dissident and how he's going to get his health care and what's going to happen to him. And then they're having all these things they went to sign about trade and strategy. But over here, completely independently, she's doing stuff as Secretary of State like what I do with my foundation.
Yeah.
Rural China, people out there hungry, can't make a living, giving them cook stoves and other ways to try to make a living. Making a world with more partners and fewer enemies should be a part of every administration's foreign policy.
Yeah, yeah. Both of you are doing so much good. Both of you. All right. Now, I want to ask you some questions that, and you have to, first thing that comes to your mind, just a quick sentence of response to this. What's the one thing every day that you wish you could do, that you used to do every day, but you can't because of who you are?
Drive.
Drive, really? You're not allowed to drive?
No. I mean, if I want to give up Secret Service protection for life, I could do it.
Yeah, they'd leave you?
But, yeah.
Oh, I would miss that too. Can you drive like just in circles on your lawn?
That's why I always, whenever I'm on the golf course, I always make them let me drive the golf cart.
No wonder you play golf.
I miss that.
Yeah, I bet. I would miss that too. I want you to drive. I really do. You and I, we're going to go on a road trip, you and I.
I'd love that.
All right, we'll be back. Wow. Amazing. She's doing, we're talking about Chelsea, even, you know, Chelsea's doing so much good work too. The whole family, you're just you're a wonderful, wonderful, good family. And I have a question that before we go on to, I have so many questions in so little time. But when they got bin Laden, and there was a photograph that was released, and there's a photograph of everyone in the Situation Room, and you see Hillary Clinton with her hand over her mouth. And I think they just showed it just now. How much time goes by before you find out that they got bin Laden? Did you find out pretty quickly, right away?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly when I was notified. But I'm pretty sure that I was notified by the White House, not the State Department, which is exactly the right thing. She never said a word to me about this.
Wow.
Which is exactly the right thing. We did when Hillary became Secretary of State. In general, if a former president asks for it on a daily basis, you can get a briefing from the CIA called the President's Daily Brief. You can get an attenuated version of that. And when she got named to that position, I said, look, I don't want any more briefings unless the president or the National Security Council, the White House people, want me to have it. Because I give too many talks, I do too much work, I never want to inadvertently say something that complicates their job. So I didn't know about it till they told me. Mm-hmm. She never said a word.
Wow. So then you called and said, I know, you can tell me now?
More or less.
Yeah. Amazing. You must have been what was your reaction when you heard that?
It was a long saga for me. It was deeply personally emotional because I'm a New Yorker. I knew people who died on 9/11.
Yeah.
And you know, Hillary was a senator, and our daughter was in Lower Manhattan. Our daughter was one of the tens of thousands of people who was in, clear visibility of the World Trade Center and was told just to walk north and keep going, and we couldn't find her and didn't know what was going on. And so it was an emotional moment.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. You have continued to, obviously, your foundation, you just do so much good work. Is there one thing that you are the most proud of that you've done since you've left office?
Yeah, I guess, let me mention two because they're entirely different. My foundation has a lot of direct activities. Like we work on helping the world to deal with AIDS, TB, malaria, stopping the transmission of the HIV virus from mothers to children, and building healthcare systems in poor countries. And we work on helping farmers improve their incomes in really poor places in Latin America and Africa. But it all started with the AIDS work. And essentially what we did was to drastically cut the cost of producing and delivering AIDS medicine, so that now of the more or less 8 million people in poor countries that get this medicine to stay alive, about half of them get it off contracts negotiated through our foundation with guaranteed payment, including 75% of all the children on Earth that are being kept alive by this. So that's 4 million people. So I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of it for another reason, because in doing that, we learned how to lower the cost of all the seed and fertilizer we give to farmers to increase their income. We learned how to negotiate in this alliance that's for a healthier generation we have to try to turn the tide on childhood obesity and diabetes among our young people. We negotiated with the major soft drink manufacturers in this country, completely voluntary, no tax, no rules, no nothing, an agreement to cut the caloric total of drinks being served to our kids in school by 88%.
Fantastic.
In 4 years. 88%.
Fantastic.
And they did it voluntarily.
Yes. All right, we'll take a break. Back with President Bill Clinton. We're back with President Bill Clinton. Let's talk. I have a gift for you, by the way, before you go. I want to give you a gift. But before, I would like you to talk about the global challenge, one thing that everyone can do to get involved.
If you go on my website and you take this global challenge, you get to choose. It'll say, what are you interested in? You pick something. Then it'll say, what do you want to know about it? You choose, you pick something, and it will lead you to something you can do. My whole theory about this is there's something everybody could do, no matter how much time they have or don't have, money they have or don't have, what they know in some specific area. And this will help you pick something that you'll find personally fulfilling.
Good, and that feels good to do.
Yeah.
Feels good to
Makes you happier. I do this stuff. I don't deserve any credit. I feel like I should be paying every day to do this. I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life. It's fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's why. And from the first time I met you, I just have always, I say it again, I admire you. I just think you're so smart, and I just really love you. And so in my house, I have a portrait that I had painted of you. I'll show you. This is in my house right now. And I thought you should have one. I know you feel the same about me. Don't deny it.
Absolutely.
So I had one commissioned. Let's.
Thank you. I accept.
Yep, you're welcome.
And I'd vote for this character for anything.
All right, good.
I love this.
I I want a paparazzi picture of you carrying that on your plane. I would like to see. I want to know you're bringing that home.
He's going to get it.
All right, good. Go to our website to find out more about the Clinton Foundation. Please, you can do something. Everyone, you can do something, and it feels really good. We'll be right back. President Bill Clinton. There's something important I have to do right now. I have a friend named Michelle, and she's out of town this week, and she had to leave her husband alone, and she wasn't sure how he was going to handle being alone. So she gave me a list of questions and asked me if I would check on him and see if he's doing these things. Let's see if he's there. Michelle's husband, are you there?
I am here.
Mr. President, Michelle said she's out of town, and she wanted to know, did you make your bed this morning?
That would be no.
No.
And, you know, when she's out of town, things get a little slovenly around the house. Socks everywhere, shoes.
Have you eaten today, and are you taking care of yourself? Did you exercise?
I did exercise. I did eat. And I ate healthy, and I had some carrot sticks along with the potato chips.
Okay, good. It balances out. Okay, and you took your vitamins, and you're all set for dinner and all that, right?
I'm all set.
All right, good. Those are my questions that I had to ask. And should we take a break and come back with more questions?
I think so. I think that would be appropriate.
All right. We'll be back with the President of the United States. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, who's joining us from the Ellen Blue Room at the White House. Mr. President, it has been a while since we've spoken. You look great. How are you?
I am doing great. You look wonderful also.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. You didn't have to just because I said you look good, but that was nice of you. And I don't know if you know this, but I was aiming to break your record of retweets, and I apologize for doing it, but I broke your retweet record.
I heard about that. I thought it was a pretty cheap stunt myself.
Yeah, right.
Getting a bunch of celebrities in the background.
That's the only thing I tried. That's the only thing
feeding them pizza.
Yeah. So the First Lady's in China. How is she doing?
You know, she hasn't landed yet, but the house is abandoned. I'm stuck with 2 dogs, and I'm expected to walk them and do what you do when you walk dogs.
Now,
but I think they're gonna have a wonderful time, though. They haven't been to China before, and the opportunity for them to talk to young people. You know, they've actually met with students here in the United States who've made these trips before and helped brief them in terms of what they should see. And it's going to be a wonderful exchange. And hopefully, because of this trip, they may be able to invite some Chinese students back to the United States as well.
That's amazing. Your daughters how are they doing? I mean, they're growing up so fast. Every time I see a picture of them, and first of all, answer that question, please. And then I have a comment about the tattoo thing that you told them.
Well, they are doing wonderfully. You know, Malia, she turns 16 this summer, which is a little scary.
Wow.
And Sasha's going to be 13. And they're doing great in school, and they're smart, and they're funny, and they're kind, and you know, they're athletic. And so I really have no complaints, except for the fact that increasingly, they don't have that much time for me. You know, I am not that interesting. They're nice about it, though, because they still love me. So they'll come in, and they'll pat me on the head and kiss me, and they'll say, "Oh, Daddy, we love you so much." And they'll talk to me for about 5 minutes, and then they'll say, "We're going to be gone all weekend." And
they're very busy
so,
girls.
So that's making me a little sad.
Well, and I bet. Let me mention this. I don't know if everyone heard this, but you made the most amazing comment about if they would ever get a tattoo, and I think everyone should stick to this rule. If your daughters got tattoos, that you and Michelle would also get the same tattoo in the same place, and you'd all take a family photo of all the tattoos.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic.
we will reduce the cool factor of any tattoo.
Yeah.
Michelle and I will be right there, and we'll post it so that everybody will be able to see it, and we'll say, we all got matching tattoos.
Wow.
And I suspect that'll be a pretty good deterrent
Wow.
for both Malia and Sasha.
I hate to say it, but I hope they get tattoos. I really do. They could.
Ellen, you should be a part of this.
Yeah, no.
You should pledge to also get a tattoo with us.
Yeah, well, you know what? If that happens, I will. But other than that, I'm not into tattoos. I'm not going to do that. Let's also talk about, you went shopping. I don't know how you can do this, but you went to a mall and you shopped at a Gap recently because you were photographed, so I know it's true.
It happened.
It happened. You went to the Gap and you went shopping. How do you have time?
Well, here's the thing. We were on a trip to New York, and the Gap announced that they were going to make sure that all their employees at least got paid $10 an hour. So they're increasing their wages for tens of thousands of employees across the country. And since we've been saying that America deserves a raise and we should provide a minimum wage of at least $10.10 an hour, I thought it was great for me to be able to go frequent a store that's doing right by their employees.
Good for you.
And I thought that was really important.
Good for you. It's fantastic. And they sold a lot of those sweaters that you bought. I understand those sweaters that you bought sold out because everybody wanted to wear the same sweaters that your daughters are wearing.
Well, I thought they were pretty nice sweaters. Yeah. And Malia and Sasha, they did not scowl when I brought them in, which was a good sign. Yeah. I mean, they didn't immediately say, ooh, that's terrible.
Well, you have a family of good taste.
I have not yet seen them wear them, but I'm hoping that I make the cut.
Well, I would like to see them wear them also. While I have you, I think it's only fair we should talk about Obamacare, and that rhymed.
Well, you know, we've got about 2 weeks left till March 31st for people to sign up. If you don't have health insurance right now, you should go on healthcare.gov, and especially all the moms out there who may have young people, 26, 27, don't have health insurance, but they think they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them. You know, what we've said is you never know what life is going to throw at you. You can, at this point, get health insurance for $100 a month or less, in some cases less than your cell phone bill or your cable bill, and it gives you some financial security. It gives moms some mental security that their kids are going to have decent care. And you know, particularly at this moment when a lot of young people, as they come out and they're getting their first or second jobs, they don't necessarily get a benefit on the job. Now's the time to take a look at it. But the website is now working. Healthcare.gov actually works the way it's supposed to, and I hope that people take advantage, because if you don't sign up before March 31st, then you won't be able to sign up again until November. And I want to make sure that everybody has this opportunity now.
It's doing very, very well. I think it's surprised. It had a rough start, but you've got 5 million people that have signed up so far, which is an enormous amount of people that have signed up. So it's successful. And why is there a deadline? Why is there not just an open-ended because I think it is important for everyone to have health care, and a lot of people think, oh, I'll be fine, and like you said, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if anybody who's gotten health insurance on the job, you know, you have this thing called an open enrollment period. Basically, the insurers, they're pricing for a year, and then they need to figure out how many people have signed up, what the risk pool looks like, how many elderly people are, how many healthy people, how many young people, and that's how they set prices for the following year. So they have to close the open enrollment period at the end of March 31st. They'll start back up, so you can sign back up in 2015 in November. But if you don't have health insurance right now, now's the time to check it out. And as I said, you know, people will be pleasantly surprised. I've got a lot of folks who write me letters saying, I didn't vote for you, and I'm pretty skeptical about Obamacare, and I heard about all the problems on the website, but when I actually signed up, it turns out that I'm saving $100, $200, or I'm getting health insurance for the first time. And so all I'm encouraging everybody to do is to take a look and see what options are right for you and your family. And moms out there, email your kids if they don't have health insurance and tell them to at least check it out, because they may be pleasantly surprised that it's much more affordable than people thought.
Well, people are starting to applaud here. I think that everyone's very grateful that you did this, and I think it is important for people to sign up and to it's just better to be covered. You just never know. And before we go, first of all, I appreciate your time, and I know you're busy, and it's the end of the day, and you've got to walk the dogs and do the laundry. But before we go, I have. Do you watch House of Cards? Do you watch Scandal? What are your thoughts on those shows?
You know, I watch House of Cards. I haven't seen Scandal yet, but Michelle has watched Scandal. I have to tell you, life in Washington is a little more boring than displayed on the screen.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know, the truth of the matter is, if you followed me, most of my day is sitting in a room listening to a bunch of folks in gray suits talking about a whole bunch of stuff that wouldn't make very good television.
No. Well, that's what I do, and we make great television. That's what.
I have to tell you, though, Ellen, there is not much dancing in the Situation Room, as a general rule.
That's what's missing. That's what you have to do.
That's the problem.
All right. What about that Let's Move campaign? Make people dance in there. All right, listen, thank you so much. You should watch Scandal. It's really, really good, and I'm glad to hear that.
That's what Michelle tells me.
It is. It's great. And I'm going to call Michelle and give her a good report. I'll tell her you're doing okay. You can go to our website to learn more about Obamacare. Remember that March 31st is the deadline to enroll, and we'll be back. Mr. President, thank you so much. Always good talking to you. It's always an honor and a pleasure when our next guest stops by. Please welcome the 42nd President of the United States of America and new grandpa, President Bill Clinton. Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Good. I miss you. I'm glad to see you.
I know. I haven't seen you in a long time. I just think you're just so super terrific, and it's good to see you again.
Thank
and congratulations, you're a grandpa.
It's amazing. You know, Hillary and I only have one child, and she's quite wonderful, but it's been a long time since she was that age. And so the biggest hoot for me, my granddaughter turned 6 weeks on Friday, is, you know, watching them wake up to the world. And for 3 weeks, kids can't see very much. So you got to hold them, talk to them, and all that. And then their vision goes from here, and it starts for 3 weeks to 3 months. It just gets out. And so she almost doesn't have time to laugh. She never cries. She just soaks things up. And I think, God, if my mind had worked like that, I'd be so happy. She's just a sponge of taking everything in. It's a hoot.
Well, that must be the most wonderful thing, too. And then you can also go away. You don't have to take care of her full time. You're the grandpa, so you can get that part and then leave.
I don't mind that. You know, I told Chelsea that she would never hear me repeat the bromide about being a grandparent's better than being a parent, because you get all the joys, none of the responsibilities. I like being a parent, too. But it's a great feeling. And, you know, it's part of the rhythm of life. It helps you come to terms in a really positive way with, you know, your own mortality and the way things go. It's just a joyful experience. I love it. I'm so happy.
Her name is Charlotte.
Her name is Charlotte.
And when Hillary is with her, is she presidential with her, or is she more grandmotherly?
She's doting, giddy, deliriously happy grandmother.
Who spoils her more?
We haven't had much spoiling time. You know, we're both under. I told Hillary right when we were going to the hospital for Chelsea to give birth. I said, now we have to remember this is not our child. And we have to show up when we're invited and do what we're asked. But I suppose we'll have a chance to spoil her, but we haven't yet. She's too busy soaking things up. She only notices us as we give her something useful to do, like grab hold of our hand or something. The most interesting thing to me is kids instinctively work their hands, you know. And they learn early that 90% of life is just hanging on. And the trick is not to forget it when you really need to remember that.
Good point. Good point. That's amazing. Yeah, she seems precious. But let's get to something very important. I gave you a picture of myself when you were here last. And I'm just wondering which room you hung it in.
Actually, you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
Show it.
Yeah, it's a portrait of. You actually. Now you just hung
there
that.
There it is. Yes.
No, you just hung that for the photo. It's not really in there. You just did it to. You just did it as a joke. Tell me the truth. It's not in there all the time.
It's not in there all the time.
All right.
I don't have enough. You need to give me a smaller picture, and I'll have it all the time.
All right.
I don't have the wall space.
All right. I'll give you a smaller one. So can we talk about your amazing foundation and your library and everything good that you're doing? That the foundation, first of all, for those of you who, I don't know if you don't know about it, you do so many good things. If you could say one thing you're most proud of with the foundation, what would it be?
That the Clinton Global Initiative has given a network of opportunity for other people to give and to bring their ideas. So I bring them together, and then we've had 10 of them now, and we've raised about $90 billion worth of commitments, and we can document 430 million lives.
Wow.
In 180 countries that have been helped.
Wow.
But I'm also proud of the fact that our Health Access Initiative has provided contracts for 8.6 million people to stay alive with AIDS. We're 75% of all the kids on earth that gets this medicine get it through the contracts we negotiated. We're building healthcare systems in poor countries. We've got a great program in Rwanda, an interesting one in Zambia. We've worked in Ethiopia. If all the Ebola countries had healthcare systems that worked, all this hysteria would never have happened. The real problem is they don't have the systems we take for granted. Look what happened here. No, the only person who's died with Ebola in the United States was a Liberian citizen who was gravely ill when he got here. The 2 nurses who were not properly covered, who contracted it, have been released. They're Ebola-free. The doctor who got it serving, bless his heart, almost certainly will recover. We got to build these poor countries' systems so they don't need us anymore. If you look at Nigeria, they had an Ebola case. Within 36 hours, 500 doctors went to, I think, 19,000 homes, and they contained it, and it was over. And Liberia has 4.1 million people, a country founded by freed American slaves. So we have a special responsibility there, I think. They had 53 doctors when the Ebola epidemic broke out for 4.1 million people.
Wow.
So I love that. I love what we're doing there, and I love what we're doing here.
You do so much. It's amazing when I think about how busy you are, and still you have time, I understand, to watch TV, which is amazing to me because
I do. Well, you know, I had a wife with a traveling job for a while, so I was home alone a lot.
So you're watching Scandal?
I do watch it some. I love anything Shonda Rhimes does.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah, I
She is
still
a
watch
brilliant
Grey's
woman.
Anatomy. I'm a devoted Grey's
Yeah.
Anatomy fan.
Yeah.
And I like this, How to Get Away with Murder.
Uh-huh.
I like Scandal. I like House of Cards. Kevin Spacey's a very close friend of mine.
House of Cards.
But, you know, I really like Kerry Washington, and her husband, Nnamdi Asomugha, is a good close friend of ours and a friend of the foundation and a remarkable human being. But the thing about Scandal and House of Cards that makes it fun to watch is that I can't imagine that either a President Spacey or the President's Chief of Staff on Scandal could really get away with murder. I wish I'd known about that when I was in office. I mean, there were, you know, think of all the opportunities
So
I
many
missed.
people to get rid of.
So little time, so many people that have it coming. You
He's
know, it's
so
just-
easy.
Yeah, crazy.
That's the only thing that's ridiculous about that show. I can't imagine. He's drinking all the time, and he's always pouring small amounts, but the president is always drinking during the night. I'm like, how is he not asleep right now? We have to take a break, and when we come back, you have big news about Hillary Clinton, which you don't want to miss. We are back with President Bill Clinton, and I understand you want to make a big announcement about your wife today.
She's the happiest grandmother in the world. No, we were talking. I do want to say something seriously, but I don't know what Hillary's going to do. That's the truth. If I did, I wouldn't tell you, but I don't know.
But all this looks different when we've been so blessed. You know, we've had a wonderful life. We've had a chance to serve. Whatever she wants to do, I'm for. She's the ablest public servant I ever worked with. But I'm more interested now that I have a granddaughter than I ever have been in this project she and Chelsea started at our foundation called Too Small to Fail. Because in general, if nothing changes in America, when my granddaughter goes to kindergarten, she will have heard 30 million more words than the child of a working mother who works for modest earnings, gets up at 5:30 every day, takes her kid to daycare, and it's all she can say grace over to pay the rent, the utilities, and put clothes on her kids' back and food on the table. So this is really a big deal. I want to urge you all, we've got to convince parents everywhere and help them to read to their children, to talk to their children, and we ought to have more universal access to preschool because it really affects what these kids can learn and how quickly and well they can learn when they get in school. It's one simple, not very expensive thing that we ought to get bipartisan agreement on, and we just ought to do in America because we know now what a difference it makes to our kids.
It does, for them to have access to so much stimulation. Well, all right, so you're not going to tell us if Hillary is going to run or not, but I'm just saying if you only had one, if you could only, if you could only pick one, because I can't afford to give you both.
Well, if I picked that one, it would be best for the country. If I picked, however, if I did that, then Hillary would start taking me up to total strangers and saying, have you met my first husband? Because it's not a decision for me to make. If I picked that one, she would be happy as a clam and so would I. So keep them both and give her the right one when she decides.
Either way, you're going to be the first husband if you take this, because you understand that, right?
Yeah.
You'd be the first husband.
Yeah, I'll tell you, since I'm always campaigning for the parties to get together and agree on something, President Bush, 43, who became a grandfather just a few weeks before I did, told me something on which there was complete agreement. He said the most important thing you have to remember when you become a grandfather is that you immediately fall to last place on the family hierarchy.
Well, I'm going to give you both. And also, should she go out on the campaign trail, I assume Chelsea's going to go with her, and that means Charlotte's going to go, so we want her to travel in style. So Charlotte has her own little...
Oh, my God.
The first baby.
That's too cool.
That's great. All right, so we'll hold this up.
And it's a made in America car. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Very important since the auto industry's coming back that you're contributing to it.
Well, let's see what happens, and I guess we'll find out when we find out. Go to our website to learn more about the Clinton Foundation, what you can do to help. I urge you to go. There's so much good that comes from that. We'll be back after this. I hear I have a little birthday greeting from a friend, a surprise. Happy birthday, dear Ellen. Oprah, thank you so much. What's happening?
There's an old song, can't, don't make me.
I'm not gonna do it. I won't do it. Vice President Biden. Oh, thank you. Will you sit down?
Hey, folks. How are you, kid?
Hi. Well,
Thank you.
how are you?
I'm well.
Thank you very much for being here. Well, what a surprise this is. And I just saw you the other night on the State of Union speech. And how many times do you think you stood up during that? How many times do people have to stand up?
Probably not enough.
I mean,
I don't have any idea.
It's exhausting that you just settle down and
Well,
then
you know, it's exhausting, but the thing I loved about his speech, he started talking about what we value, the things you've heard me talk about for years. I just think, it's good stuff.
I do too.
By the way, you know what my wife said to me?
What did
my
you
wife said to me, Joe, I said, Jill, I sit back there and I'm, listening and I help write the ideas in the speech. I know it all. And I said, I got to pay attention. She said, welcome to the club. I said, what do you mean? She said, welcome to the Good Wife's Club. She said, how many times have I sat and listened to you make a speech and pretend to be interested in looking? So, I'm a member of the Good Wife's Club.
Oh, she's fantastic. I love your wife.
She is.
And Valentine's Day is coming up. What are you and Jill going to do for Valentine's Day?
A lot, and I'm not going to tell you.
No, really? I don't want to know everything.
Sorry, guys.
But seriously, you must be here for another reason besides my birthday. What are you in Los Angeles for?
Well, now that you asked me, it's your birthday, but beyond being your birthday, you've been a real booster of the Affordable Care Act and getting people to sign up. And you have an incredible audience, a lot of young people, and you have an awful lot of...
I have an incredible audience.
No, I mean it. And Ellen, you have a lot of moms home listening. And, there's, what happens is a lot of you who are below 25, you can still be in your parents' policy. But once you hit 26, your parents can't cover you anymore. And all of you think you're invincible, that nothing's going to happen. So you say, why do I need health insurance? And so I want every mom out there to tell their adult child between the ages of 26 and 35, sign up for no other reason than give mom peace of mind. You know what I mean? All kidding aside, do it.
Yep.
Do it. And Ellen, I'm just here to ask you, and you, because you've been a supporter and you think it's important to tell your audience, the most appropriate audience I could speak to, because they're young and home with their moms. And I want you to, there's 4 ways you can sign up. May I do this?
Yes.
Deadline's February 15th. You can go online to healthcare.gov. It's easy. It's finally working, the website. 2, if you want to talk to somebody, you need some help, you dial 1-800-318-2596, 24/7, and someone will walk you through it. This is changing the way people are able to live and their peace of mind. So please, get people.
And we will put it on the website. So if you didn't get all that, we'll put it on our website. And where are you going? What's happening?
By the way, I got a gift for you.
Where'd that come from? What's happening around here?
I got a real gift. But first of all, my mom used to have an expression. She said, Joey, on a child's birthday, the mother should get the gift because she did all the work. So this is for your mom.
Oh, she's going to love that. Thank you.
And you talked about watching the State of the Union, watching me stand up. Now, next year when you watch it, I want you to be able to be comfortable.
Okay.
I bought you a bathrobe with the White House seal on it.
Well.
And a gift to Ellen from Joe, so you're comfortable.
I'm putting it on right now.
Can you get it?
Thank you so much. Vice President Joe Biden, everybody. We'll be right back.
Now, can I just say I was watching some of the dance moves
Yes, sir.
backstage.
Yep.
You guys are doing pretty good.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed. I liked it.
Yeah, the gentlemen that were on the floor, I thought followed Twitch very well.
I thought they were going to hurt themselves.
Yeah. You felt you didn't want to compete with that coming out?
I couldn't. Once I saw that, I said, you know what, they've set the bar too high.
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
No.
The last time you were here, you were running for president, and now you're leaving. I feel like I have something to do with both. But this is an obvious question, but how do you feel now compared to when you were here before?
Older.
Yes, I knew you'd say that. Tired?
You know, the interesting thing is actually I feel really energetic. The first time I came, you know, there was a lot of possibilities out there, but also uncertainty. And, you know, you're young, you're eager to get started, but you don't necessarily know what you don't know. And now, after having served for 7 years and having gotten a lot done and seen the progress that we've made and seen the incredible resilience of the American people in fighting back from recession and war, in some ways, the fear drops away. You feel confident that America's going to do well. You know the job better. You're more relaxed. And, but just as enthusiastic as I was the first day I started.
Do you look at what's going on now in the campaigning, and do you miss it in any way? And do you look at them and go, oh, you're making big mistakes?
I don't miss it. It's always good to get out of Washington, which can sometimes be a little depressing.
To get out of Washington, or to, what part is depressing?
Well, Washington.
Yeah. That's, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, no, but
you're kind of not kidding. You're kind of not kidding.
I'm kind of not kidding.
Yeah, I mean, what was the biggest surprise for you? When you became president, what surprised you the most?
Well, the fact is that most of the time, if something reaches my desk, it means it's really hard, which is why they bumped it up to me, because nobody else could figure it out. And you know, when I came in, the economy was collapsing. We were about to go into a Great Depression. We had to make a whole bunch of decisions about saving the auto industry, or making sure that you know, businesses got back on their feet, or the housing market would recover. And you know, you're having to make big bets with incomplete information. You're not sure that everything's going to work. And I think that part of what's happened in this Instagram, you know, Twitter culture is that we expect quick answers without sacrifice, without having to make choices, and politicians play into that. But the truth of the matter is, you know, the world is a big, complicated place. The good news is that we're generally going in the right direction, and my hope is that we'll continue to do so.
That's everybody's hope. But let's talk about me. I feel like, don't you think if more people danced and just had fun instead of, everyone takes everything so seriously, and I think that we have these, you know, people that all, I'm kind of kidding there, obviously, but I think we have people that we all have the one thing in common, which is we just want a good quality of life.
Right.
And then we have these people that feel one way, and if someone feels another way, we tend to hate them. And it's just
That's
really
not helpful.
No, it's not helpful.
The amount of stuff that is just put out there on the internet or on sometimes news broadcasts that are just factually inaccurate is surprising, and it's really hard to catch up. Since I came into office, we reduced the deficit by 2/3. But if you ask the average person, they're sure that spending has shot up. And the reason is because there are a bunch of folks who say that we're wildly overspending, even though we aren't.
Right.
And that's just one small example, but it happens all the time, and that's something that we have to fix, partly by people paying more attention to what's going on every single day. And it's hard. People are busy. They're dropping off their kids. They're, you know, working. They're, you know, trying to figure out how they get some exercise, do some push-ups, and you know.
Speaking of her,
okay.
What do you and Michelle disagree on?
Well,
like, what do you fight about?
You know, after about 15 years, I finally figured out that she's always right. So then, surprisingly, we just stopped fighting
Then
after
there's
that.
no more fighting. Well, she's a cheater. You know that. When you talk about the push-ups, I'm not gonna argue about it anymore. Yeah. But she's a cheater.
Yeah.
Look how far down I went,
you're still upset about that.
I am, so, because she didn't go down all the way, and she claimed she had longer arms, and so listen, it was very impressive that she kept going, but she didn't go down as far as me. Look at her.
Okay.
Look.
She's going down pretty far.
No, not as far down as me. Look.
I mean, those are good. You have good form.
I have better form than her, and I.
You have good form.
All right, listen. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. So what will you miss about being in the White House, being president? What is the one thing that you're thinking, oh, this is going to suck?
Well, Air Force One's really nice.
Now, I've just seen House of Cards. Is it like the plane on House of Cards?
It's better.
Is it? That's a good-looking plane.
It's a nice plane.
Yeah.
And then Marine One, you helicopter around. You land on, after you land the plane, then you just get in the helicopter. It's a pretty good deal.
So you don't get to do any of those anymore?
No. I was told a while back that I had just flown 1 million miles on Air Force One. And I asked, is there a frequent flyer plan? Which makes sense. Ex-president, I mean, I understand there'd be blackout dates.
Right.
Right? But if the new person wasn't using it.
Exactly. It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's my point.
So you'll fly commercial from now on?
No.
But I mean, that is something to miss.
I don't miss flying commercial.
Yeah.
Taking your shoes off and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
no.
it's stinky. Not yours. No, not yours. When other people.
I wear clean socks.
No,
I don't know about
no,
you.
when other people take their shoes off on a plane.
Maybe other people.
It's
Maybe
just
that's
rude.
true.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
in any way insinuate you have stinky feet.
That's my point.
If you want to prove to me and take your shoes off right now. All right.
Oh, no, we're not going there.
All right. There's like a barber shop and everything in the White House?
Yeah, I get my hair cut. It's all self-contained. And the great thing is that you don't have to go anywhere to get stuff done. You don't have to run to the dry cleaners. You don't have to shop for food. The bad part about it is that it's a bubble, and you don't leave.
Yeah.
Or if you do, then the bubble follows you everywhere, and that's something you never get used to. And what it also means is you're not having sort of the spontaneous interactions with people.
Yeah.
That you do on a Saturday morning. You put on some sweats. You don't shave. You go to the Starbucks and you run into somebody. You have a nice conversation. That kind of stuff, or just taking a walk.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that probably I missed most about being president, is just take a nice walk on a nice day.
Can you drive?
I know how to drive, yes.
But will you be able to drive?
Well, I'll continue to have Secret Service, but
Can they be in the back seat?
that's my point. We're going to negotiate.
Okay.
On a nice day, if you got a convertible,
I know.
Yeah.
That you'd
maybe they can just tail me.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yeah, run. They can run right behind you. All right, we have to take another break. We'll be back.
All right.
We are back with President Barack Obama, and I mentioned it in the monologue, but I cannot tell you or thank you enough for what you have done for the gay community. So thank you.
It's one of the things I'm proudest of, because my whole political career has been based on the idea that we constantly want to include people and not exclude them. How do we bring more and more people into opportunity and success and feeling hopeful about their lives? And but I will say, we were driving over here today, and I meant this. I said it to my staff. I said, as much as we've done with laws and ending Don't Ask, Don't Tell, et cetera, changing hearts and minds, I don't think anybody's been more influential than you on that. I really mean that. That's true. That's true. And so your courage, and you're just really likable. And so as soon as you being willing to claim who you were, then suddenly empowers other people, and then suddenly it's your brother, it's your uncle, it's your best friend, it's your coworkers, and then attitudes shift, And the laws followed, but it started with folks like you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
It's true.
really sweet. Thank
That's
you.
true.
I'm not really gay.
But you, on TV,
I know.
you play one,
I just
and it was
thought
great.
it would work, and I've had to stick with it because people responded well.
Sort of like the dancing thing.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of keep on going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to you. Malia is going off to college, and that's got to be...
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's got to be...
Look, as Michelle reminds me, our job is to prepare them not to need us. And both my daughters are wonderful people, and Malia is more than ready to leave. But I'm not ready for her to leave. And yeah, I was asked if I would speak at her graduation. I said, absolutely not. Because I'm going to be sitting there with dark glasses, sobbing. Yeah, she's one of my best friends. And it's going to be hard for me not to have her around all the time. But she's ready to go. You can tell she's just a really smart, capable person, and she's ready to make her own way. And they're wonderful. They're wonderful girls. And Michelle gets all the credit, maybe an assist from my mother-in-law, but they really are just solid kids. They don't have an attitude. They're courteous and kind to everybody. They work hard. They don't feel like they're entitled to anything.
Well, they have great parents.
Yeah.
Both you and Michelle are really, really amazing. Michelle is such a strong, wonderful role model for all women, and she has been a great first lady.
I
agree.
That I agree with.
All right, we have to take another break.
That is indisputable.
Yep. And you have been a great president, and like you said, people can say things over and over and over again about unemployment or the economy or anything else they can, but if you listen to that, you're going to believe it. If you look at and look into it and see what the facts are, it's just not the truth.
We're better off now than we were when I came in.
You've
There's
done
no
an
doubt.
amazing job.
Thank you.
We'll be back. We're back with President Barack Obama. So I heard that you carry a charm or something in your on your
I have
person.
a bunch of charms that
People
I put
give
in
you
my pocket.
things.
Yeah, they give me things this dates back to the campaign trail. They'd hand you stuff, and I started getting this big collection of little charms, crosses or lucky coins or.
And you keep a different one in.
Yeah, I'll just put a bunch in my pocket.
I have something to give you.
You
then.
do? Okay. What do you got? Let's see.
It's a charm, and it's my picture and your picture.
Oh, that is. Look at that. Yeah.
That's for you.
I will treasure
Okay.
this. This is so sweet.
Yep. So that's for you to
Thank
keep at
you.
all times.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
And then I have a surprise for you because
You
it's
do.
Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
So we have a surprise for you. Take a look.
Surprise! Hi, honey, and hi, Barack. I just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. It's our last one that we'll spend in the White House, and in honor of that, I wrote you a little Valentine's Day poem that I wanted to share. Roses are red, violets are blue, you are the president, and I am your boo. I wrote that while I was doing 100 push-ups this morning. It gets the creative juices flowing. You should try it, Ellen. No, really. You're the only person I'd share my husband with on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Portia, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And Barack, I know there's a See's candy out there, so bring me something chocolatey back. You know what you need to do. Love to you both. Bye-bye.
Very sweet.
Yes.
That's very sweet.
Yes. So I thought I would help you out because you didn't know she was going to do that. So I set up a little setting.
I've got something prepared.
Wow. All right. Well, then I have a setting.
I was
for
going to
you.
deliver it to her in person, but we can do it on the set.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
All right, so you'll stand there.
So I'm going to stand here with the rose petals.
I'm going to set the mood.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Is this good?
Yep.
All right. Somebody call the Situation Room because things are about to get hot. Michelle, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to treat you right. I'm going to make you some zucchini bread. Then I'll spread out some veggies on a plate, just the way you like them. Then I'm going to give you a massage while you watch Ellen's Design Challenge on HGTV. Because I love you so much, I Obama care about you more than you even know. That's right, Obama cares. But, Michelle, I've made a lot of great decisions as president. The best decision I ever made was choosing you. Thanks for putting up with me. I love you. And Ellen, happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back.
You know what President Bush would do if he wanted to call in folks to come into the office? He would press the really special button. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, push, there it goes.
Hi, Macy. Hi.
Hi, Macy.
Hi.
George W. Bush.
Yeah.
That looks just like me.
Do his eyebrows do that? Can you show me around your Oval Office?
Why not? Oh, I didn't know I was that heavy. So,
George Washington.
yeah, you know what I call him?
What?
The first George W.
He actually brushed his horse's teeth instead of his.
Really? Now that's an interesting fact.
Yeah. Wasn't Laura the best first lady because she never embarrassed her country or you?
Oh, that is such a really nice lady.
Yes, in my mind, she was by far the best first lady. One time I said that at a speech, and I realized my mother was in the audience. Get it?
Yeah.
All right. Right now. George W. Bush.
No, if you want, you can talk. Just kind of try to hide your mouth behind his head.
Yeah. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, George.
You're a cute and smart person.
Thanks. Do you want to try?
Sure, I've been trying to do this forever. Hey, Laura, can I do the dishes for you?
So what do you do these days? I heard you had a hobby.
I do have a hobby. You know, I'm painting.
Can I try and paint Ellen?
Yeah. Nice.
All right.
What is that?
Her head.
Oh, she's a small Ellen.
So.
She's friendly, so we'll have her arms up in the air waving. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a winner. Here's the way I sign it. 43. Ellen, you've never looked better.
Thank you, Ellen, for sending me here. I love you.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye, Ellen.
Our first guest is the 43rd President of the United States. His new book is called Portraits of Courage. Please welcome President George W. Bush. Dancing. It wasn't committed to it fully, but it was a little bit of dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sober.
Yeah. It's hard to dance sober. It really is. All of these people drunk. I'm so excited to have you here. Are you as excited as I am to be here?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
No, I am. People don't know this, but my daughter Jenna and you are good buddies.
Yes, we are.
And so my attitude is, if you're a good buddy of Jenna, you're a good buddy of mine.
She's a lovely girl. Your whole family. Your whole family. Yeah, she was on the show, and we called you, and you answered the phone. You actually picked up and talked to us while she was on the
Yeah,
on
and
the
I
show.
was actually the president.
Yeah, I know.
in the treaty room in the White House.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We were very excited that you picked up.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I love your whole family, your dad and your mom, and I know we're both in the hospital recently, but then they were at the Super Bowl, so I was happy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're good.
Yeah. I'm the only president with both parents alive after the presidency,
Really?
which is a huge blessing.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And so, actually, I'm the only one of two presidents with both parents alive during the presidency.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
See how you learn things and I learn things together. We teach each other.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah. Teach me how to dance, please.
I'm not the one to do that. That's Twitch. But really, I do love them very much. But you have, when you left office, and you've pretty much stayed out of politics. You kind of went and lived your life, which is great, I'm sure, and more relaxing. But I have to ask you what you think of what's going on now.
Well, I think this isn't the first time our nation's ever been divided. I remember what it was like when I got out of college. There was a Vietnam War and a draft. There were major race riots. There was political assassinations. The president was nearly impeached. And a lot of people thought the country was going down the tubes. And it turns out we're too strong to go down the tubes. And so I'm very optimistic.
Good.
But yeah, I'm out of politics. You know, my whole view is I don't think it serves the nation or the office of president to have a former president criticize his successors. And so I'm happy to be off the stage, except this one.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for being on this stage. So this is a concern, though, for me. I'll bring it up, and this is not political. This is really something that I think is important. Obviously, the media was not, great to you. They're not great to most presidents. The media is tough.
You expect them to be tough.
But Trump is raging an outright just war against all press and not allowing press to do their job, which I think is a very dangerous thing.
Well, here, I said something the other day, and of course the headlines were Bush criticizes Trump. Here's what I believed when I was president, post-president. The nation needs a free and independent press. And the reason why is that power can be very corrupting. And we need a press corps to hold politicians to account, including me. And yeah, I didn't like it sometimes when people said things that, about me, but that's the job. I always viewed I'm going to drop a big word on you. Symbiotic relationship.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 syllables.
Yeah. Don't ask me to spell it.
All right.
And that is, I needed the press to get the message out, and they needed me to make news. And so, yeah.
But it's very important. I mean, I
yes,
think
it is very important.
we need to hear from everybody, and then it's up to us to figure out,
So I used to tell, a lot of these tyrants when I would visit with them as president, that they needed to have a free press. And I would point to our country as an example where, power doesn't make you immune to criticism. Or to corruption investigations. And so, I'm a big believer in the free press, just like I'm a big believer in free religion. You can worship or not worship, and you're equally American. It doesn't matter how you worship or who you worship.
When you say tyrants, were you speaking of Putin? Because you had a relationship with Putin, and Trump has a relationship with Putin, but I believe it's different.
Yeah, well, so I introduced Putin to Barney. You remember Barney, the little Scottish Terrier?
Yes.
The little guy had legs, and he kind of dissed him. He looked at him like, you think that's a dog? Anyway, so a year later, Putin says, would you like to meet my dog? Laura and I were with Putin in his dacha outside of Moscow. I said, yeah, I'd like to meet him. And out comes a giant hound, kind of loping across the birch line yard. And Putin looks at me and says, bigger, stronger, and faster than Barney. And, it speaks volumes when you listen to what somebody says. And so, in other words, he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
And so, I had a contentious relationship with him. And I think whoever the president is going to find out that Putin will push and push and push until somebody stands up to him.
Yeah. So Trump should get a hound.
Not bad.
All right.
Pretty darn quick.
We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna talk more with President Bush, and we're gonna talk about this amazing book that you have.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that the first time?
Yeah. It's
First time putting a
it
poncho
looks like it, that's for sure.
And all you do is this end up. We're back with President George W. Bush. And looking back on having some perspective being out of the office, how would you rate your presidency?
You know, it doesn't matter. I think that ultimately an objective historian...
That was the most hilarious timing. That was just...
I did what I gave it my best shot. And if people are genuinely interested in why I did what I did, they ought to read the book I wrote called Decision Points. But I don't really worry about history. I mean, I know I gave it my all,
Yeah.
and I'm very comfortable.
And how do you think Obama did as president?
Eventually, he'll be judged just like I'll be judged. In other words, I'm not going to tell you.
All right. But you're good friends with Michelle.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. She and I have you know, I'm kind of a needler, and she handles it pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was at the opening of the African American Museum in Washington.
Yeah.
It's great, really.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get a chance. I was there for one day, and I'm dying to go see it.
You ought to. It's
yeah,
good.
I hear it's amazing. The building is beautiful. The architecture is beautiful.
Really interesting.
But yes, she is an amazing woman. I love her so much. I feel the same way about her. She's a great person. So you went to the...
That surprised everybody. That's what's so weird about society today, you know, that
well,
people on opposite sides of the political spectrum could actually like each other.
but are you that close? You're closer to her than Barack?
Well, let's put it this way. He's never given me a hug that way.
Yeah. That's true. So it's all about the hug. I see.
Generally.
That's the way. So you went to the inauguration, which was the right thing to do, but it must have been tough because your brother Jeb was pretty
Not really.
harshly
you know,
judged.
Jeb gave it his best shot. Not
Right.
really. I tell you, it's a beautiful experience to watch the peaceful transfer of power.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I went.
You had a little bit of problem. The poncho was a problem. It seemed. Had you put a poncho? Had you put one on? Was that the first time?
Yeah. It's
First time putting a poncho on.
It looks like it, that's for sure.
I feel like... I feel like it runs in the family. It really must run in the family because your mom had an issue with the poncho also.
It's genetics.
Yeah. All right. I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. So, hey, Zener, will you bring out the gift? There's a... All right. What you do... Here. And all you do is this end up... and you can put it on. Yeah. All right. All right. We'll talk about the book after this. Back with President George W. Bush. I'm waiting for you to paint me. I want you to paint me.
I told you I was looking in those eyes.
All right.
Beautiful blue.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for my portrait. Let's talk about this amazing book. You really are a great painter. And Portraits of Courage. Tell everyone what this is.
I've gotten to know a bunch of warriors since the presidency, and ride mountain bikes with them or play golf with them. And I decided to paint 98 portraits because I wanted to tell their stories. Our veterans are a unique asset for our country, and we need to not only honor them, but to the extent they want help them transition from the military to civilian life. And this book calls attention to what works and what doesn't work, for example, in dealing with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury.
And all the proceeds go
to the Bush Center. Thank you. The Bush Center,
Yeah.
in Dallas, Texas. all for our vets program.
We have some of the vets in the audience with us today. Thank you very much for your service. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, we got Jake and Danny. These are guys I know. They're friends. I painted them. That's Danny.
It's Danny.
See, a little nervous when I showed Danny his painting because it's a little impressionistic, and he politely said, "God, that's great."
So when did you start painting? How long ago?
5 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Recently?
I was agnostic on art, and got a little bored, and I read Winston Churchill's essay, Painting as a Pastime. I said, hell, I'm going to paint.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good.
He was really good.
Really good. And so I hired an instructor, and the art community wasn't exactly my base of support when I ran for office. And so the instructor was slightly nervous. She said, "You're objective." I said, "There's a Rembrandt trapped in this body, and your job is to find him." And so I started painting. I paint all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. You're really talented. I can't believe you just started 5 years ago.
I painted, these are painted with a lot of passion. I cannot tell you how much I admire these men and women in this book.
Well, the book is fantastic, and like we said, the proceeds go to the foundation, which helps the vets. I learned that you just got a puppy. You rescued a puppy recently.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a line of pet supplies and pet toys and
Awesome.
things like this.
Oh, that's big.
So I want to give you, it's Freddie, right?
Freddie.
All
yeah.
right, and I have toys for Freddie, I have a bed for Freddie, so all of this is going home with you, all right?
I knew there was a reason why I came.
Yeah, it's free
Freddie.
stuff.
Yeah, free stuff. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. All right, Portraits of Courage is in bookstores now. We'll be right back. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. The last time I saw you, well, it wasn't the last time, but you surprised me for my birthday.
I did.
Which was a lovely thing to do. You're a busy man. You gave me a bathrobe. I wear it all the time.
Let me explain the bathrobe piece.
All right.
She talked about watching the State of the Union, and she didn't have a bathrobe, so I brought her a presidential bathrobe.
Yes. A presidential bathrobe. That's me in my bath.
Not me presidential.
Yeah. That was
Barack president.
Yeah. Listen, I am so happy to see you, and this book is fantastic. It's getting great reviews. It comes out tomorrow, and it's heartbreaking, and it's inspiring at the same time. It is called Promise Me, Dad, and explain to everyone. It's just a piece of. It's not a memoir. It's a certain time in your life.
I wanted people to know about I'm going to sound like a typical dad, but I wanted people to know what a remarkable son my son, Beau Biden, was. He was, well, my dad used to have an expression. He'd say, never complain and never explain. I can honestly say his entire life, never heard the kid once complain. He was a decorated war veteran, came back from Iraq for a year, spent time in Kosovo volunteering to put up their system. He was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware. And I wanted to write about what an incredible man he was and what a relationship he had with his brother, a year and a day younger, and his sister, and how he really built this family of mine. And then I also wanted to, a lot of you have been through some tough times, and your parents have. Some of you maybe have lost a brother, sister, husband, wife, son, daughter, and I wanted to give people reason to hope, and there is, if you can find purpose in your life, and you can turn the loss of the person you love into devoting your time to what they would be doing were they still alive. So I hope people get a sense of purpose out of it.
Well, they will, because it's a beautiful book. It's getting great reviews, like I said, and you wrote it. You wrote this so much faster than Obama is still working on his book, and he's not going as fast. He's still working on his book, isn't he?
Well, he is, but he's a great and gifted writer. And he said, look, Joe, I'd written another book before that for a while was on the bestseller list 20-some years ago. And I had forgotten how much time I had put in to write the book. And so he said, pick a place to go and spend the next just every day in a disciplined way. So for the most of May, June, and July, I spent between 8 and 15 hours a day writing the book. And it turned out to be the way to do it because you know how the brain works. You know, you're engaged in the willing suspension of disbelief. I was writing the book, and I write about my boy, and I'd say, well, this is what Bo said to me. I'm sorry. The first interview I've done it. I say to my son, well, Bo said this to me. And he said, Dad, he couldn't have said that. He couldn't speak for the last 2 months. He had that tube down his throat, Dad. And what you find yourself doing is putting the bad, really bad memories out of your mind. And you want to look at them. I want to think of him as this beautiful kid in the back of the book, or this strong major in the United States Army, or the guy introducing me at the National Convention. And so, but it was a catharsis in the sense that, you know, I wanted to be completely honest, but not maudlin. None of this is intended to be, you know, so many of you have gone through things as bad or worse than me, and maybe without the incredible help I had. There's so many people today, Ellen, you know it better than I, you have such empathy, that get up every morning, put one foot in front of the other, and wonder how in God's name do they do it?
Yeah.
But they do it.
Yeah.
And so it's meant to hopefully provide some hope. And the Promise Me, Dad, was Bo and Hunter are my best friends, and my wife always says, Joe, you got to get some friends. No, for real, for the last 25 years, because I kept waiting for the day that they'd go out to play golf, or they'd go skiing, or they'd go to the movie and not invite me. No, you think I'm joking. I really mean it. And it never happened. It never happened.
That shows how cool you are, that your son still wanted to hang out with you. That's what that
shows. So what he kept saying was, he said, promise me. He said, Dad, I'm going to be all right no matter what happens. But Dad, give me your word as a Biden. Promise me you'll be all right. Promise me, Dad. And what he meant was that he was worried that not that I would give up on the family, but that I'd withdraw and not continue to fight for the things I'm passionate about. And so that's the essence of the book, Promise Me, Dad. And I'm trying to keep his promise.
And you are keeping his promise. And we're going to take a break. More with Vice President Joe Biden after this. What is this? What are you giving me?
Oh,
I'll put it away. That's private. He gave me his number. All right. So let's talk about what's happening in this administration. Is it very hard for, in a nice way, let's try to be nice. Is it hard to sit and watch from the sidelines and see what's going on? Have you reached out to President Trump to try to talk to him?
I have reached out to the vice president, and I try to keep in contact. I did this cancer moonshot for the president, and so I've continued to have contact with the elements of the administration that are following through on the recommendations we made. But I don't think anyone should, at least the former vice president, shouldn't be criticizing a president of the United States when you're abroad. I don't think we should ever do that. And I don't think we should be in a position of essentially talking about a different foreign policy. So it's been, but that's the extent to which there's been any interaction.
Right. Until you run for president in 2020.
Well, look, thank you. Look, it's very flattering. The one thing I think you know about me is I say what I mean, and I never mince words about it, and I mean what I say. Sometimes I say all that I mean. It gets me in trouble, but I really have not. I made up my mind. I've decided I'm going to devote the next couple months to this book tour, Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to conflate anything having to do with politics with my boy. I don't want to conflate anything to do with politics with the message I hope will be helpful to people who are going through what I've been through. I mean, and so I'm just not, and honest to God, I haven't made up my mind. I've done not a single thing that would promote that or to organizationally do anything. And I'm very flattered people say nice things, but you know, my dad had another expression. He'd say, Joey, don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative. I think the reason I'm looking good now is the alternative. But I really, honest to God, have not made up my mind. I just want to focus on my boy for the next
All right,
months.
just remember that that's what I would like to see, and I don't know if it's going to be myself or Oprah as your running mate, but I think that But anyway, yes, I understand. It is not your focus right now. Your focus is the book, and it should be. It's a fantastic book, and as you said, it is what we need right now in the world is hope.